Alright everyone, we are back into the next game. Of course, we are following Hot Hands into their next match. They will be playing against the Latin American gamers. Have not seen them before, so I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table. Of course, as always, Nizcast will be the one joining me. And honestly, I am just excited to see what Hot Hands Warmers brings out against a team that I don't know anything about, so chances are decently good that they haven't heard of them either, and this is their first round 4 performance.
Well, this is the SCS, and yep, underdogs do happen, and especially in this tournament. We've already seen a couple pretty strong teams get eliminated by rather no-name teams earlier on in this tournament. So, and we've definitely seen it in the past. I think it was South American Rejects had their debut in this kind of tournament, and they went on a long run. They actually won, so they were a relatively no-name team. So yeah, we'll look to see what the Latin American gamers can do this game, or maybe we'll just be amazed at what Hot Hands can pull out and just impress us once again with their terrific execution and ability to just see a weakness and pounce and end a game in 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely well put. We will see the Brewmaster banned out by Hot Hands this time. However, with this last ban, assuming it will not be a Meepo, we have the potential to see that Monib Meepo. Definitely always excited to see a good Meepo play, and yes, it will be in the pool if they choose to pick it. However, Razor is banned out. So now we have, the list would be Viper Tidehunter, we have Rasta, and of course Skywrath Mage, and oh, I actually completely forgot. At the top of the list we have Lycan, as he didn't get banned and Doom was instead the ban. And Doom might have been being kind of sneaking through these drafts, because I haven't actually really mentioned him being banned too much, and we haven't seen him picked, but
he's been banned.
Okay. Well then, I am just not paying attention. I was about to say, I need to go back through the VODs, watch all these games, and be like, wow, Raptors, you didn't mention it 3 games in a row that Doom made it through. But anyways, into this game, Lycan out of Hot Hands, and of course Shadow Shaman and Tidehunter will be the fire back. Equally strong heroes in their own right, and Skywrath Mage. Seen him every single game today, and no surprise, because in more amateur level play, tempo control is very, very, very important.
Yeah, I do want to mention, it's not like Latin American gamers forgot about Lycan. They chose to let him through, and as soon as the Lycan was picked, they immediately fired back with Rasta and Tidehunter, so they knew what they wanted, given Hot Hands Handwarmers picked up the Lycan. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do, or what they've got planned to deal with the Lycan, because right now, a lot of teams think Lycan is really, really strong, and that's why he's in the first 4 bans in the vast majority of games that we've seen.
Very well put, and of course Tinker and Death Prophet, other incredibly common heroes we see in most games, if they're not banned out, that is. Death Prophet we've been seeing a lot of today. However, she did lose the last game, so Dota is definitely a game of play, not necessarily a game of chess in the draft. It does require all 5 players to play very well together, and Viper will be the ban out for Hot Hands, as honestly they don't want to really deal with the Viper Strike on Lycan. Yes, it doesn't affect him in ulti movement speed, but the attack speed slow is actually really huge against Lycan, and a lot of people don't think about that. Because all of a sudden, for 3 seconds, Lycan can't actually attack in his ulti form. Yeah, he can still run around, but forcing Lycan to run around for 3 seconds is definitely worth the use of Viper Strike.
Yeah, absolutely. But,
Pugna's last one, so they're really scared of just like a Deathwall push coming out of Hot Hands. Very reminiscent of TI4. VG again, they were the ones who really brought that out. Granted, they usually had the Shadow Shaman on their side, but Pugna was a relatively common pick or choice in those styles of strategies, as well as Death Prophet.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say right now. We're just kind of waiting.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of covered all our bases here. What can they... There's not even too much that we can even read into potential lanes or anything like that. Of course, Tidehunter could be played as support. He's typically played in the off lane, and he can also be played as kind of a safe lane farmer, although that's probably what we see the least of. But yeah, Shadow Shaman, once again, he could be played in kind of a farming role or as a mid role, but most likely he's going to be played as support. Lycan's Lycan, he's a wolf, he does crazy stuff and kills towers, and Skywrath just throws arcane bolts from 7 maps away and slows you for days. So
And honestly, that Ancient Seal is really useful against Shadow Shaman. Again, to my point, last game, the Skywrath Mage is a low armor, low base strength, low strength gain hero. But so are Venomancer and so are Shadow Shaman. And Ancient Seal amplifies that damage by up to 35%? 45%. Wow, I am really bad at Dota, guys. I apologize. But yeah, 45%, absolutely huge. Will allow you to just evaporate the Shadow Shaman or the Veno. However, you'll never really see that used on the Tidehunter in most cases, unless they just Ancient Seal and let him sit around.
which is very possible. You know, they already show, like, from we've seen, there's 3 heroes. They don't have a lot of AoE. You know, yeah, the Fury and ult, okay. From the Fury and ult, it can bounce around and do a good amount of AoE damage. But if you throw that Ancient Seal and just on the Tidehunter, if you don't have a bunch of AoE, that means you're not going to pop it with his Kraken Shell, so it's going to last the full duration, meaning he can't get his Ravage off. But we did see a Bloodseeker picked here, which is, I mean, it's good for stopping Lycan from running away. It's okay against Nature's Prophet, and it definitely has potential to pick off the Skywrath. But yeah, they're really piling up on the mid-game heroes here.
Yeah.
It's the Latin American
So
games.
I do think it's worth noting, like you said, that the Bloodseeker's ult interaction with Lycan, that's really where Bloodseeker truly shines, in my opinion, as a hero, is that he has that anti-mobility effect to him. And that really helps when you want to keep the team standing still to get a Ravage off, to get a Poison Nova, to get good wards down. But also, yeah, like you said, it's okay against Prophet, but, the silence... The second that Bloodseeker has, a Yules or a Hex or a Bash or anything like that, Prophet is not going to be able to split push. But yeah, if they lose out in the mid game, Lycan and Prophet carry potential is definitely terrifying. However, the Skywrath Mage will help them a lot in this portion or in the mid portion of the game because he can honestly burst down all 3 of those heroes. Though we do commonly see a Blade Mail being picked up on Bloodseeker when we do see that hero, of course, because he can just run in, rupture, silence himself, Blade Mail, and fight to the death.
Yeah, he does have the potential to help at that point in the game, but he also has the potential to just feed endlessly at that point in the game to the Bloodseeker. So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. And then we've got Enigma, another really greedy pick. I'm a little hesitant to see that Enigma pick. Yes, it can push really strong with the Nature's Prophet and the Lycan. They've got that potential there, but I'm a little scared about them potentially just getting completely run over by the Latin American gamers here with their pickups. But maybe they're just, maybe they're sitting back and saying, you know what, we don't know these guys. Whatever, we can play greedy and just ensure that later on we're gonna be fine. We're gonna just kind of rest on the fact that we've got a Lycan to fear on. That can be pushing all over the map and putting pressure all over the place. But we don't think these guys have the execution, and maybe they're underestimating. We'll have to see.
10 seconds remaining.
But
They could be. I think this last band's Leshreq. Interesting band there is honestly they who have a very nice team to shut down a Leshreq, but Leshreq is one of those heroes once he gets BKB, Aghanims, Bloodstone, whatever your choice is on that hero, he can just run at you and dish out insane amounts of damage. Mirana, the final ban out for Hot Hands, I think that makes sense too. They want to stop more of that long range initiation. Obviously, you don't want to have to make the choice between moving while ruptured or getting arrowed. It's pretty obvious you move, but like at the same time, right, that sucks because they're going to take advantage of that. Bloodseeker's going to get lower than 50%, you're just going to start to move quicker, yada yada yada. So I do like that decision a lot.
So I'm trying to figure out what Latin American gamers is going to pick here as their last hero, and it's Weaver. That wasn't either of the ones I was guessing. Okay.
Well, that gives them late game transition,
like
relatively. I mean, honestly, Weaver can stand in the lane that Prophet wants to split push and completely shut that down. Weaver also, after in the mid-late / late portions of the game, towards the end game of Dota, Weaver does beat a Lycan because of Geminate attack, and also just the beefiness. Lycan has trouble cleaving through or cleaning through that. But I don't dislike it. It's just very interesting for me too. An Axe, and I like Axe. He basically negates a lot of what Latin Gamers wants to do. However, Axe has the potential, just like the Bloodseeker, to blink in and feed. There's a lot of magic-based damage coming out of the Latin Gamers team, and Axe generally is pretty weak against that. You really like Axe when there's a lot of right clicks coming out because of the way a call works, but what are your thoughts on that pick, Niz?
I love Axe. He's the manliest hero in Dota. Look at that beard. It's incredible. But what I like is, it's on Monip, so they're going to put him in the middle lane, most likely up against his Bloodseeker, which I think is okay. But I also like the fact that he can just blink in and taunt the Weaver and just lock down Weaver, and they can just give Weaver while he's still weak and squishy. Because, this team is looking to do a lot of things in the early and the mid game, and Weaver isn't really going to get off the... isn't going to be that big, that early into the game. He typically takes a little while to get off the ground. So if they can pick up some free kills on him, why not? And...
well, let's go ahead and introduce the teams here and get this game started. Niz, we do have, of course, hot hands on the Radiant side. For them, the Skywrath Mage Berg EU Burr is going to be picking up the Skywrath Mage. We have Melisam picking up the Enigma Jungle. We have Monib, of course, on that mid role will be playing the Axe. Drop, usually the offlane role, picking up that Nature's Prophet. And finally, that leaves Cheech. However, smoke up over here by Mako. They might try to go on this. Gale is out of range, however. Skywrath Mage has insane base movement speed at 325. They might try to reinitiate this, but I don't think they have the means to do so. And that leaves Niz to introduce our dire opponents.
All right, on the dire side, we have the Latin American gamers. Playing the Tidehunter, we have Warrior, Rip and Pepperoni, Cerity. On the Venomancer, we have... oh, this is kind of hard to do with the game this pause screen. Captain Mako, 18, playing the Venomancer. On the Weaver, we have Seleg. On the Bloodseeker, we have Giayu. And playing the Shadow Shaman, we have Nitrun.
We did some cool showcase introduction for them as well. They got the more
Nice.
epic introduction. If you guys like that or dislike that, let me know, because we could do that to make this stream cooler for you guys. But yeah, honestly, I think a lot of this game straight up just rides on the middle lane, because whichever one of the manly heroes gets the advantage at the beginning of the game can just press the tempo, and if it falls far enough behind for Monib as well as Bloodseeker or Bloodseeker, sorry, they fall far enough behind the other, they'll kind of get run over with the rest of their team.
The battle
I have to disagree and agree with you at the same time.
Oh boy.
I think in the laning phase, unless there's a huge skill differential between the two players, it's going to be relatively even. Unless one hero completely dominates the lane, it's not going to be the biggest thing. It's how both those heroes transition out of that lane and start going around the map. Both heroes have to be really, really present on the map as soon as they leave the middle lane, and it's going to come down to which one between GIU and Monib has the bigger impact on the map. So I think that's the thing that we're going to really have to watch for. I think overall the middle lane should be relatively
Bottom lane,
even.
actually, we might see Skyburger going down, and Skywrath is taking a lot of damage. Shackles will go off after the Gale, taking a lot. Will fall here. Cheech trying to turn the fight onto the Weaver. But I was just going to mention, while you were finishing up your thought, or when you finished up your thought, that this aggressive tri-lane has a great potential to shut down Lycan. And then my second thought is usually, when I pick the Lycan, I say, okay, if he gets shut down at level 3, just go to the jungle, farm the jungle, let the support lane. Well, guess what you have in the jungle? You have an Enigma. So you don't want to compete over the jungle, and I think it's also worth noting on that same thought, they have a Prophet who also wants the jungle, and is actually getting bullied out of this lane right now by the Tidehunter.
Yeah, that's an angry watermelon that's not taking any crap from the trees. But I just wanted to finish my point on the middle lane. I think this is slightly favored in Axe for Axe. However, I think both heroes are going to get what they need to make a good transition. So that's important when you're dealing with really aggressive heroes that like to kind of snowball or have a big presence in the game. That you don't have to win the game. You don't have to win your lane. You just have to not lose it and make sure you're putting yourself in a good position to make that transition and start your snowball.
Well, very well put. Nax already doing a pretty dominating job in this mid lane. He does have 11 last hits as he's just been running at the Bloodseeker, doing the right thing, completely zoning him out to the best of his ability. But top lane, it looks like it should start to stabilize a little bit as Prophet went from 1 last hit to 7 over the course of that explanation of the mid lane, which is very good for them. It was about 30-40 seconds, and hopefully he'll continue that trend to dominate that lane. In bottom lane, though, I feel like right now Latin Gamers is giving Cheech a little bit too much. He is able to get access to that level 2, and we'll be looking to get level 3 relatively soon. Interesting, he doesn't choose the wolves, so he can jungle earlier on, but I guess that is because of the Enigma. Support rotation might be netting a kill here as they do run out. They will get the shackles onto Cheech, and he does not have the ultimate. Not even close level 6. Gale to follow up with the Sakuchi through right clicks might be enough as Select G. Actually, woo! Skywrath Mage making a clutch play at the last second. Getting the great play. Getting that deny. Preventing all of that effort into that kill.
Wow, that was just a really well timed auto attack there to get the deny there. He outlast hit 3 heroes attacking. That was pretty good. Like a Mona, but look at how manly he is.
Yeah, he's just creep
And
skipping
dropping
now.
the tranquils.
And honestly, that's a good decision, because if the Bloodseeker comes to try to steal his tranquil, he just should pick it up right there. And now he's going to go ahead and man up. But has he gone too far as the call comes out? The damage is quite a bit. He does have 1 point and 2 points into his thirst. So now with the TP from Shadow Shaman. Did not see which color that was. I actually thought it was Weaver for a second. But yeah, Shadow Shaman will go ahead and get to that kill.
Yeah, dropping the tranquils. You know, a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that when they're jungling because you can take advantage of the fact that you can not set the tranquils on cooldown, get regenning faster, as we see Weaver getting initiated on bottom.
Yeah, and he actually should go down here. Arcane Bolt does go through Invis. We'll see if the regen is going to be enough. It was only level 2 Arcane Bolt, and no. 89 damage, not enough to net that kill. In mid lane, a rotation coming out. Monib was doing great in mid lane, but these 2 deaths might be enough to completely change the direction of this game as he's going to dive, make one wrong decision, and does get shackled up here, and now the Gale to follow up as well. The right clicks might be there. He's going to continue to fight this and should try to turn it here. He does have the call and he uses it, or the right. Is the spin going to be enough? He does get 1. Does he get 2? He does with the the slam dunk. Double kill for Monib as that rotation goes sour very quickly, and honestly a little bit of RNG, but also the fact that their heroes don't have that much burst.
And the fact that you're attacking Axe. This guy is so manly.
Manliest hero in the game. You heard it first.
Even when he's about to die, in his dying breath, he takes it to swing an axe and chop someone's head off. How awesome is that? I love Axe.
It's pretty freaking awesome. And Axe is going to go ahead and TP into this top lane. Now he has a bottle on top of his Tranquil Boots. This might be the next set of action, as most likely the rest of the map will remain relatively calm. Cheech hitting up to that level 4, very important for him. Bloodseeker was also doing very well, level 6 now, however, the Axe is doing better than him, sitting at level 7. Actually, in top lane, I did miss that, as Cheech did run in. Was trying to collect my thoughts about the rest of the map, but again, that call into the Culling Blade, easy kill, slam dunk. And now maybe Bloodseeker might be able to catch out Monib, but is it Monib who's catching out the Bloodseeker instead? We'll see, as they both have access to their ultimates, they both have access to their abilities. We'll see. Bloodseeker does turn around, uses 1 right click, the Enigma's in the area, and that means that the Bloodseeker is the one getting caught out. Here we have the call, as well as the silence going on to Bloodseeker, but it won't be enough as Slam Dunk secures that kill. And in the jungle, Skywrath Mage is caught out by a 3-man gank squad coming out of Latin American Gamers, and we see a 4-5 scoreboard. 6 minutes into this game. Definitely a lot of action. But what do you take of it, Niz? Who's getting the most out of this right now?
Yeah, I think Hot Hands is getting the most out of this. I think Latin American Gamers.
Well, that might change with this. Rupture is used on Enigma. They get the deny from the Venomancer. Now the Hex onto Monib. He does get the call off, but Enigma's going to die anyways. The Gale actually barely misses, so it's not going to be on him. It's going to allow him to chase here, and this disengage could turn it into multiple collateral kills, as they do put the silence onto Bloodseeker, or onto Axe, but it's honestly not going to do anything as the Arcane Bolt cleans them up. Skywrath Mage wants to continue to pursue this, as I can't remember hero names. Doesn't have a concussive shot, so won't be able to continue that pursuit. Also during this, Lycan hits up close to level 6. Prophet, level 7 himself, and almost to that Midas recipe.
Well, I think Hot Hands is in a much better position than they should be, given how strong this Latin American Gamers team is in the mid game. As Axe is probably going to taunt here, Weaver.
Yeah, will get the, doesn't actually have Sakuchi, does have Sakuchi now. Does come off cooldown in the last second. There is no dust or detection in any form. TP out by Weaver should allow him to escape. Close there, but unfortunately, between the lack of detection and lack of follow-up stuns, and I guess they could have committed Black Hole, but, you know, it was kind of a risky Black Hole in some sense too, because what if they missed? I think he was able to get the Sakuchi before, but now this tower going to be sieged as they do pop the Howl. Eidolons deal a crap ton of damage, to say the least, +5 already, as they will split, dealing 51 damage across 6. Now the Concussive Shot as well, as the Arcane Seal onto Shadow Shaman, taking a lot of damage, but run forward is the Venomancer, who's going to use his Poison Nova now on the Gale to Skywrath Mage, taking a lot of damage. The retreat continues from Hot Hands as 5 members of Latin Gamers are here. Latin American Gamers is Cheech is going to take quite a bit of damage. He's going to take the right clicks as well as the Poison Nova and Poison Sting from Venomancer, and with the Sakuchi cleaned up by Select G.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Captain Mako on the Venomancer. He stepped up, basically ran up into them, and got a good Poison Nova off. And it secured the kill on both Skywrath and on Lycan. I'm getting Lycan really, really low. But that's a show of a really good player, to know when to step up like that, to basically step up into the enemy team and be able to drop a good Poison Nova and never be at risk of dying. You know, there's a lot of times we see on the pub, for example, where a Venomancer will try to do that and he'll just die immediately. Maybe he'll get his ult off, but he'll just
This
die
might be a
immediately.
mistake from Hot Hands, as they're TPing in multiple heroes here. Cheech is already here in the background, and Skywrath Mage is going to go forward, but now the Rupture as well as the Silence. And Lycan is going to run forward because they don't have access to that Rupture, but Ravage is going to lock him down anyways. They use the Gale, but it doesn't really matter. Now, actually, Axlingson gets a call on 2, gets the slam dunk on the other. Now the double slam dunk for the double kill. Will he get the triple one? As Weaver is running off into the side, he does have his wand charges, does not have enough mana for a TP yet, but there is no vision of him. But now there will be it. They might not be able to pursue. Monib, actually not done yet, sees the Tidehunter, doesn't have an access to a Blink Dagger yet, as he's relatively poor. And Monib continuing the chase. DD halfway through duration. Blink Dagger coming up right now. Blink Call with multiple creeps. Great call there, and that will be the 3rd slam dunk in 45 seconds. Monib is an unstoppable axe right now, with 1,500 gold after his Blink Dagger.
Yep. I was talking about it. In the lanes, they were relatively close, and then coming out of the lanes, there was apparently only one hero in the game, and that's Axe, as he's just been dominating this game. He's been all over the place. You know, he's now 8-2-1 versus Bloodseeker's 1-4-3, but you know, Axe is basically Monib on this Axe has just basically been a standout
TP in
performer.
from Weaver, as they might want to try to turn this. The Silence goes on to Axe, so he can't get the call off. Pursuit will continue as they get the Rupture on him as well, dropping down to low HP. And the Gale hits on multiple. Black Hole also hits on multiple, as Monib is going to TP away and might be able to get away. He does. Prophet ult comes through as well, but the time-lapse will save Weaver from dying from that. Low health is the Rasta, as the pursuit continues now. Silence on to Skywrath Mage, that does purge everything but the Howl. However, bottom tower will fall during this, as Cheech has been applying split push pressure. Now the Arcane Shot, as Cheech has TP'd, the Prophet has been split pushing bottom, and now Cheech is here, clean, gets that kill on Bloodseeker. Now Weaver pursuing on to Skywrath Mage. The call misses, however, but Arcane Seal is coming up in just a second. They do get the Arcane Shot, which means, or the Concussive Shot, which means they should be able to see him. No. Able to dodge into the fog there. He does have access to Sakuchi now, but the call is off, and now the Arcane Seal, that's a guaranteed kill, as the Slam Dunk actually doesn't even need the Slam Dunk, is the spin. Gets that kill. Axe now going up 9-2-1. Monib having a great game. 3 heroes down for Latin American Gamers and 2 towers in the bottom lane, as the action might just not end yet, as they do actually know it will end. TP away, no access to Ravage, and looks like Hot Hands got the most out of that, Niz.
You know, they're just doing good stuff. You know, they're just winning. These guys have shown last game that they make really good decisions on the map, and you know, they've just gotten off to a good lead. Even though the score is 13-10, you know, they're pulling ahead.
Well,
And
middle
they're
lane,
pulling
actually,
ahead
there
by
might
quite
be a
a
kill.
bit.
Lycan is going to get the TP out, it looks like, as there was not enough follow-up or stuns. As the silence on Shadow Shaman, I'm not entirely sure how he was silenced or what silenced him, because the Purge was on the Axe, or sorry, the Lycan, but now in bottom lane, Drop is going to get silenced up. The bonus movement speed is on Bloodseeker. He has access to those phase boots. Will be able to get that kill. That is an important kill, as they need every single one they can get. And now even action more action even as this game continues, as Mona runs through it. The haste blinks away. Nothing going to happen from that. But I think to your point is, the lack of towers coming out of Latin American gamers is the biggest difference right now. They are down a 5 tower deficit.
Yeah, it's
Blink forward by
non-stop
Monib is
action.
going to actually get onto Sledge. Sledge as the slam dunk gets that kill for Axe. And again, that will be the
it's 14 to 11, but towers don't show up in kills, and ability to farm the map also doesn't show up in kills. As we see, 4 out of the top 5 last hits are in favor of the Radiant side. So
net worth is
they're-
even more of a grim story.
Yeah, and the gold graph is similar, but yeah, they've shown the Stars side has shown that they can have some good fights. They had a good fight at bottom, where they pulled out the Ravage. Haven't really seen too active use of the Ravage recently, but yeah, that remains to be seen. It's definitely not over yet. It is going to be quite an uphill battle for Latin American gamers. They are smoking now, so
And
maybe
this
they
is a
can
good
get
way.
something done here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's a good way to get back into this game. Mako will be found out in the silence as well as concussive out, dealing quite a bit of damage. The spin plus the dunk is going to finish him off, and now the fight will continue. The rupture is used on Axe, but he's not going to move anywhere. He's just going to stand there and spin, but he does get bursted down after the Ravage hits on 4. Big Ravage, but time lapse from Weaver will secure his escape, and now the black hole coming in from Melisam dealing quite a bit of damage, but 2 of his teammates are already down. Another one cleaned up in the background as Seretti is doing quite a bit of damage. Both of the supports have fallen for Latin American gamers as the chase continues in multiple directions. Tidehunter getting isolated by 2. Weaver will get away from Monib as he bought back, and now the Lycan will pop his ulti, but it looks like the Shadow Shaman is there with the shackles to stop that, and it actually Enigma gets himself killed, but Monib blinks in, gets the kill on Rasta with that dunk, and what a chaotic fight. But I think that was relatively even. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
We had a buyback from 2 heroes. We had a buyback from Axe, and we had a buyback from Rasta, which turned out to be a dieback. I think that was it, though.
Well, actually, middle lane, the action's not over yet as Mona blinks in, gets the call, and with the Mystic Flare follow-up, that will be a free kill on Sledge, and if that was an even fight, it isn't even anymore. Losing their safe lane carry, or their their primary carry, is a big issue as the siege of the T3, first T3 of this game begins. Actually, Nature's Prophet using the bonus damage from the silence from Bloodseeker to help siege the tower, but now the blink call in from Monib, gonna hit on only the Bloodseeker, but it should be enough here as he pops this Blade Mail as well, and now the silence on to the Tidehunter from the Orchid. He doesn't have access to Ravage. Monib dropping low, but the mech is there to help get him back up, and now the call to stop Tidehunter from getting any more spells off. They will turn this, continue to turn this round as Mako is taking quite a bit of damage down to 40 HP, but will get away in the background. Skywrath Mage is now the one taking most of the heat here as he drops down to 200 HP. Monib is going to come back and blink call in, going to get the slam dunk onto Rasta. 3 down for 1 as the Skywrath Mage falls in the background, and now it looks like Melisam wants to turn this action back in favor of Hot Hands as he wants to start something, but nothing is there to be started as the siege will continue lately. But Monib just does not want to stop fighting. Bottom lane,
this
maybe?
is-
Cheech? No. Just doing a lot of split pressure. No, I lied. Monib gonna blink in and get the
So
call.
manly.
But actually in the middle lane there's a rupture that's gonna get the kill on the Nature's Prophet, and we see in the bottom lane Lycan getting the kill on Weaver. And Weaver, did he buy back for that? Or did he just respawn that quickly because it's early on in the game? Yeah.
I actually...
Yeah, he just respawned.
respawned that quickly. I'm almost hesitant
Bottom
to call
tower
them Hot
falls.
Hands. I feel like I should almost be calling them Monib or Axe +4 right now, because he is... He's
Going ham,
15-3
but actually
and
bottom
2.
lane.
It's
Now
going
Monib
crazy.
gonna save his teammate again.
16?
Proving your point as he goes 16-3 and 2 and absolutely
He's-
showcasing his skill.
He's all over the place, and he's just dominating this game. And that's what you want. If you're picking an Axe, that's what you expect. Well, maybe not this dominant, but you expect him to have this kind of role in a game where he's all over the place, and he's making stuff happen. And Monib is definitely showcasing the fact that he's got a good handle on this hero, and he's got good game sense, and he can do that. And he's just been dominating, absolutely. I think all 3
Well
times
put.
he's died, he's also bought back. Oh, sorry, twice he's died and bought back. The other time was when he dove past the tier 1 early on in the game and didn't die back because the respawn was so short.
Well, BKB is now going to be coming out of Prophet. I was mentioning that he might be going into that Midas earlier, but he chose not to. Goes into that Orchid. It has paid off dividends so far, and now the TP from Nature's Prophet, very well timed. He did use a normal TP, so there's no risk of the silence stopping it. They needed the Rasta there to actually do it. Monib staying on the sidelines. He hasn't gotten a single point in that battle hunger yet because he's just going for that manly man build where he's blinking in and calling, and it is working out. As Niz said, and he's going to be sitting here fake calling. Rar, 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 rar. But let's go ahead and take a look at a farm on the dire side for Latin American gamers. This game was going very well at the beginning as Roche, down to 3,000 HP, will fall in the favor of Hot Hands. I assume they'll go ahead and give that to Prophet. Maybe the Lycan, although he's a shapeshifter. But yeah, Weaver, not much farm. Tidehunter, close to a Blink Dagger. Shadow Shaman, begging for more. Bloodseeker, barely has anything past his Blade Mail. And of course, Mako, trying to build that mech, but honestly, at this rate, he may never get it. And the items on the other side, of course, Skywrath Mage. Decent items. I mean, he went double Null Talisman. Doesn't really need much more in this game, considering what Monib and Lycan are doing. Lycan, of course, having that Reaver and that Vlad's. And Monib, now close to that Ags. He might actually be sending it out, as I just screwed up with the Fog of War. Checking the Courier, of course, yes, it is for him. But this siege will begin. Tower down to 178 HP. Blink back from somebody. So they didn't want to engage here. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Prophet is going to apply split pressure, forcing Latin American gamers to consider 2 points of pressure at once rather than just one.
Yeah, Latin American gamers actually use smoke there so that they could get better positioning with their supports in the back line. So they're just
might
kind
not
of
even matter as Serrati is going to get hit by that silence as well as the concussive shot, and now Cheech posturing forward with those wolves is going to start to siege on this tower. The Gale goes off and onto him and him only, and that will be cancelled by his ultimate. Rupture is still online, so if he uses it, they could just rupture him. However, they have to factor in that he has a second life. That bottom lane is getting held out by the wards, which is very important. Venomancer doing a good job there. Of course, Prophet will TP to the top lane to switch the direction of the pressure, and they're just going to keep applying the pressure to different lanes, but never mind. Monib wants to just go in. He does get blinked, or silenced, sorry, as well as Hex. That silence canceling his DD is no longer up. Does pop the Blade Mail. Skywrath Mage ultimate goes off and hits or misses on the mark, and now middle tower has fallen. Bottom tower will fall as well. 2 towers in 10 seconds of play as the fight looks to continue. Serrati moving to zone out drop. A drop will just immediately go for the TP. Can they actually stop him? No. The Hex does go off, but it goes off in the fountain, as Dota does have little bugs like that, but Prophet is still alive is the important note here. TP in from Bloodseeker, and he does get the Rupture on Monib. He pops the Blade Mail and just starts running through and doing a ton of damage to Bloodseeker. However, they have vision of him, but might be a bait. Weaver does get the Arcane Seal on him, followed by the Arcane Bolt, dealing quite a bit of damage, and now actually the turnaround onto Skywrath Mage's 4 heroes from Latin American gamers are here, but the middle range racks will go down during all of this action, and top lane will get sieged in as well as the split pressure continues. Cheech and Drop are here, both ready to push it, but they will get zoned out. Here's the Ravage hits on both of them. Now the follow-up from the Hex onto the Lycan. The Shackles on to Nature's Prophet. They can continue to pressure here as they have the silence running on Lycan, which means he can't get his ultimate off. Will he choose to use it? Remember, he also has Aegis. Monib could turn this around. Anchor Smash comes through with the Black Hole. Only hits on Bloodseeker. Now Roster runs into it, but they also get the Gale on, or sorry, the Poison over onto 3, and Monib's in the middle, gets the first slam dunk. Buy back onto Bloodseeker because that happens, but now the Enigma is down. Monib is down. He does buy back. Lycan is back to the right side of the map to try to apply split pressure, take down another Rax, as they hope to take more Rax instead of fight, or kills, because they understand the importance in this game, honestly, of how much Rax does to a team like the dire side team.
No Veno.
Yeah, no, Veno might get caught up by Monab. He does get the blink call, and bam! Slam dunk. That'll be the kill for Monab, sitting at 18-4 and 2. Maybe Saligi is in a little bit of trouble, but the Blade Mail, as well as the silence, is popped onto Axe. He's just going to turn around and fight, but Hex and the Rupture, they might be able to turn this around as Cheech is here as well. Skywrath Mage also, but Axe falls. Mystic Flare doing quite a bit of damage to the Rasta, but now Skywrath Mage in the background is taking quite a bit of damage. He will fall, but now Rax in top lane already going down. Looks like Cheech is trying to apply his own pressure in the middle lane, but he will be quickly chased away by the 4 players, Latin American gamers, and good job by the Prophet just leaving his treants here to note the range racks because there is no region, and already Melisam positioning himself with those boots of travel into the bottom lane, just pulling Latin American gamers everywhere.
Yeah, between Melisam, Drop, and Cheech, all these guys on Hot Hands, hand warmers, there we go, are pulling their opponents all over the place as they're drawing what looks like a little turd on the map, but it's a little weird. But you know, that is Bergie Uber just showing his prowess with the mouse when it comes to
2 range racks will go
talent.
down. BKB TP from Prophet. Doesn't look like they'll actually commit anything there, which is a good decision. And actually 3 range racks down, as they're down to only 3 melee racks. This game is 3 racks from being completely over. And before anything else happens, Niz, you're in Latin American Gamers captain position. What are you saying? What are you doing right now?
Dire's top
I'm trying to calm my team down because everyone's incredibly frustrated. Because defending this kind of split push is the most frustrating thing you could ever do in Dota. How you win this game, I don't know. I have no idea. I think you have to somehow engage and engage hard on someone, and I don't know how you do that without using Ravage, because you somehow need to still have Ravage up and then do something on the back of that pickoff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so hard with all the split push, and I think that hero needs to be Furion. But even just killing a Furion isn't going to give you that space to do what you want.
He
So
still has buyback too, and it's all reliable.
Yeah.
No, it's not all reliable. He's half unreliable.
I don't know. Like I really don't know how you can come back and win this game.
Well, guys, Niz said it, and I agree. The Cinderella story may not be here, as Latin American Gamers is on the last thread in this game. The siege will begin for the bottom ranged racks, or melee racks, sorry. Cheech moving into the middle lane to go for the middle melee racks, and of course we already have Drop pushing out the top lane. We can see the vision completely constricted to this point. Latin gamers have no idea what's going on anywhere outside of their base. And already Wolves onto the melee racks. Heroes onto the bottom racks, as well as Creeps and Edelons. And now Blink call in middle by Moneb. He's going to pull the Bloodseeker out of position. And of course, Bloodseeker can't do anything about it because he's called mech. Will allow him to get out of here relatively safe. But is that enough? Because Prophet actually in the top lane is going to get soloed up by the Weaver. The question is, does he get popped from the Orchid? He does. And that just means that that's one less hero for them to defend these racks. And I think it's kind of worth the trade because Cheech, yes, of course, Cheech going to move in here and take this racks. He has access to Howl as well as his ultimate, but Rupture is going to go out on him. He could just stop a Mona with the Great Blink Call. It's going to hit on 3. Ravage hits on 4, but the Blink Black Hole is still, they still have access to it. They did not get the ultimate, the Poison Nova onto Enigma, and now the Slam Dunk is going to clean up the roster. Slam Dunk is going to clean up the Tidehunter, and with 3 heroes down, top melee racks down. Mako, the only one here to defend Monib, running away at 100 HP, and of course the Skywrath Mage soloing up his counterpart support. There is the mech. Can they even kill them? It looks like the pings are going too ham here. I don't really even know what's going on. Oh, they denied his teammate. He denied his teammate. I get it, and he's upset about it. Well, the ping spam is continuing as Bloodseeker wants to turn around and go on to Molison. He does have access to that black hole. Does instead choose to use that Midnight Pulse, but now the black hole is available, and he will use it. It's a center black hole dealing maximum damage. And with that Arcane Bolt, that's it. And bottom lane, Rax goes down, leaving only this Rax in this game. And Drop is going to attempt to solo up the Weaver, and GG is called by the Bloodseeker, and that will be the end of this game as Hot Hands moves into the next game. And no surprise there, as they just absolutely dominated this on the back of excellent play by Monib.
Yeah, he just went ham this game. You know, he started off doing pretty well in the middle lane. Like I said, just getting what he needed. He won the lane a little bit, but that was to be expected. Yeah, he got a little bit greedy, got a little bit overzealous, and ended up dying. But he got what he needed, came out of that lane, and just showed everyone he's the mainless hero in Dota. And yeah, he walked away 26-2. And yeah, Hot Hands walks away 30. For a game that the kills were only 30-26, that was a very, very dominating performance from them again. So yeah.
Yes, and very well put, Niz. Of course, that leads us into, I believe, a semi-final match. I'll go ahead and update you guys before we move in. But of course, if you're enjoying this stream, please follow below. Really appreciate it. Helps us out. Also, check out the YouTube for all the VODs where you guys can go back and watch these on your own time. If you want to watch them in Dota TV, I highly encourage you buying the ticket. Also, check out my Twitter at DotaRaptorZ. And please check out Niz as well, because he is awesome, intelligent, and understands Dota very well. You can check him out at /Nizcast for YouTube and Twitch, as well as at Nizcast for his Twitter. And that does it for us, guys. It looks like we're waiting on one more game, but it will be Hot Hands versus the winner of Corey versus Value. So stay tuned for that upcoming game.